You know, I didn't even think I had to make a video on this, and yet the horny Horner saga has taken yet another turn. Following the events of F1's season opener on the weekend, Max Verstappen has been rather critical of his son's employer, claiming that Red Bull are on the brink of exploding provided Christian Horner not step down from his role as team principal and CEO. Where has this come from? Who knows? Rumours of a less than savoury relationship between the pair have been circulating for a while, or maybe Jos is just a bit jealous that those texts weren't meant for him. Regardless, the Dutchman's comments have somehow thrown Max Verstappen into the equation for #blessed vacant seat at Mercedes in 2025. These links strengthened when it was revealed that the three-time champion sat down for dinner with Toto Wolff over the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. When I first saw these rumours, I did what you might expect, laughed at this silly journalist's cry for views, and then moved on with my life. This is all sounding a bit hypocritical now, isn't it? But over the last 24 hours in the paddock, where there seems to be a new earth-shattering development around every turn, hey, I mean, look just what's come out while I write this script. Anyway, Big Ben aside, these Mercedes rumours haven't really gone away, so let's take a closer look and see if there's really any ground to them. Let's answer the obvious question that comes to mind first. Why on earth would you want to leave a team that treats you like a deity, provides you with everything you'd ever hope for in a car, or even driving all your teammates into a drug-fueled depression trying to adapt to your weird alien driving style? And not to mention, why leave a team that has dominated since 2022, even doing so whilst taking the absolute piss out of Mercedes' failed zero-pod concept? Well, maybe Verstappen is mentally ill, or perhaps he's thinking longer term. We'll get the weaker argument out of the way first. If Verstappen wants to prove to the world that he really is the greatest Formula 1 driver of all time, he'll want to show that he's not just some one-trick pony, that he can win with another manufacturer on the grid. I call that the weak argument, as from what I've seen of Max so far, he really couldn't give the faintest of shits. He just wants the fastest car and will probably piss off after 2028 while still in his prime. So why then? Well, maybe it has something to do with the next set of technical regulations, which aren't really as far away as you might think. I don't know about you, but it still feels like yesterday that we got the current generation of ground effect cars and teams still didn't know how to stop them but f***ing the circuits. In reality, 2024 marks the third iteration of these machines, and we'll only get one more in 2025 before the new aero and more importantly engine rules come into force from 2026 onwards. Though on the aero side, Red Bull are grand. They're still holding Adrian Newey tied up in the Milton Keynes basement, but as far as engine rules go, the team haven't had the greatest of track records. 2014 was the last time these saw significant changes, and marked the end of Red Bull's last period of dominance. Of course, a lot has changed since then, and no doubt the lessons learnt from the team's messy divorce with Renault have built into their current strategy of designing the engines themselves. But rumours have been brewing that the performance targets Red Bull are aiming for haven't necessarily been reached, and even though the new regs are still 2 years away, that might not bode well. That concern might be what tips Verstappen towards a shock exit, and whilst the ideal time might be at the end of 2025, with how volatile the driver market is this season and the Horner saga giving Max the best opportunity to break his current long-term deal, maybe 1 year of hurt is worth it if Max can challenge at the top again in 2026 and beyond. Right, that's it for the delusional talk, because realistically, this ain't happening. And the Verstappen's recent German fetish has another explanation. First things first, why pick Mercedes in the first place? It may well be the best alternative for now, but making any call on 2026 is a huge risk this far away from the regulations coming into effect. A lot can happen in the space of 2 years, and anyone could find themselves competitive. Well, maybe not Alpine, but you get my point. For me though, this all comes down to Team Verstappen's plan to change the man on the top of the Red Bull Racing organisation. If it wasn't clear that there were cracks forming in the relationship between Horner and Jos Verstappen, the Dutchman's remarks after Bahrain have made it crystal clear. It seemed many expected Christian to lose his job after the recent internal investigation, but with the Spice Boy staying on, the Verstappens have had to switch tactics. Building up hype about a potential move for Max, to me at least, looks like a deliberate attempt to force the hands of Red Bull. If made to choose between their star driver or their star but tarnished team principal, you'd think some of Horner's supporters might just start questioning their allegiances. What still confuses me though is why force a change at the top anyway if you were Verstappen. Horner has seemingly given the Dutchman everything he needs to succeed in Formula 1, and changing the man at the top surely puts that in doubt going forwards. But really, we as the general public know so little about what's really going on behind closed doors, so there's likely a ton of context we're still missing here. We're also not considering the potential aftershocks of firing Horner, several key personnel having break clauses in their contracts if he does go to the birds. Regardless, the civil war at Red Bull shows no signs of calming down. It's reached national headlines now, and it appears every day will just bring about a new surprise in this utter mess F1 finds itself in. But do I think Max is headed for Mercedes? Hell no. It doesn't make the slightest ounce of sense to me. That said, can we just go back to what I said in May of last year? All of these stories dwarf the big one heading into Monaco though, as midweek some pundits at the Daily Mail emerged from their Imola crack den and claimed Hamilton was going to Ferrari. The rumours stated the Scuderia had offered #blessed 40 million to ditch Mercedes to be repeatedly fisted by the Ferrari strategy team. If it's not clear by my tone already, I don't believe a single word of this, and if it happens I'll travel to Monaco myself and run round the track naked. Watch that come back to bite me on the arse. Basically, I've wasted your time again, haven't I? Either way, I'm curious to hear about what your thoughts are in all this. Do you think Max is headed away from Red Bull? And if so, where is he off to? Let me know in the comments below and head over to the poll on my community page to vote and probably get in an argument with a Hamilton stan in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and get subscribed for even more F1 content in the future. A huge thank you goes out to my patrons and channel members for all of their support, and if you want to get involved in that and see the video I've got for Wednesday early, you can head to the links in this video's description.